Just like that, a brand new gasket's installed. Inside, okay?
Alright.
Classic Industries has supplied us with this beautiful, brand new flip-top gas cap. You see it comes with a trim ring, all the adapters you need for it. So we're going to pop this thing in and replace that old original gas cap. Now we'll remove this last screw here. Take our trim ring, slide it right into place. Put our gas cap over the top of it. And simply add our screws back in. There you go. Only thing we have left to get is a gas cap from here, locking tight, but this will do just fine once we get that in there. And it looks great. Thank you, Classic Industries, once again. Little tiny details like this are where you're going to get a lot of attention. Now you can see here that this marker light has been busted, but for cheap we can fix this. Classic Industries has the job just for that. I'll clean up that later. But anyway, you can see here, check this out. That's going to look awesome when we get it bolted in and done. It comes with a new gasket on the back side right here, so you're good to go. All you got to do is just take this, pop it in there, bolt it in, put your light back in, and you're done. I remember doing these on my blue Dart Swinger way back, and I thought these were the best thing in the world, and they really do look awesome. That silver stripe really does pop and reflects really nicely. So definitely a big upgrade compared to what we had. The light was still in this thing, it was still holding, but it was not doing its job as a reflector, obviously. So this will look really good put back in the car. So we'll do all 4 of these on all 4 corners, and we'll have some nice turn signal reflectors. Very beautiful. That looks good. Really like that. Definitely looks better than that broken one. I remember a lot of people back when we first got this car on the back quarter panel on the red marker light. People were so upset because I let that one old one just hang out there. I was like, I don't care. But these will look a whole lot better in place. So yeah, you can see really the whole look. It makes the car look upscale, you know, as much as it possibly can be with the rest of the car looking the way it does. But it definitely looks better than what we had. That old broken and cracked one that didn't even function. Thank you, Classic. So you guys may know that I'm very excited about these Anson Sprints. Now these, I really think, kind of bridge the gap between a old school look and a modern ride. So the good thing about these is they do look like the original slot mag style wheels, but they're in a 17x9 on the rear, and this is a 275/40/17. And I've got brand new tires on the back. Now I bought these used, so you can see that they do need some polishing, and I did a little work on this one, just right in this area, you know, just to see how the shine would come back. It's still got a little bit of build up on it that we can fix, but you can really see how the shine can come back, and I just need like a power wheel or something like that. But anyway, the wheels look great in my opinion. I know that I've had like a lot of mixed reviews on what you guys think, but I really think these wheels totally suit the car because they kind of bridge the gap. Like I said, it gives the classic look, but a modern design. They're lightweight, they'll be grippy, you can get really wide tires on it, and they really hug the road. So we've got that on this side, on the rear, as well as over here on this side. So, and they fit pretty well. I think that we're gonna have to make some adjustments as far as like how close the wheel lip fits. Might have to do a little bit of trimming, maybe get a different size wheel. But like I said, I bought these used, so it was just about like the perfect thing to do. Now what you see here are the fronts. These are 17x8s on a 245/40. So I held off on putting these on the front, though I've been dying to do so for one particular reason. Whoever had these before me did not get an alignment on this poor car that was on. And these brand new tires at one point totally got worn down to the belt and the wire on the inside. So it basically ruined these tires, and I hope that they still hold air for us to at least look. But we'll get an idea of what they look like at least So that's why I was really holding off on not putting these on the car just yet, but I'm really dying to see what they look like because I really want to get that look, get the car sitting down low, give us that inspiration to really finish this thing and get the last leg of the car done. So I think this will be a really nice touch just to give us that extra little push, and I hope you guys enjoy these wheels just as much as I do because I think these things look awesome. Fun little side note on these, this wheel right here, this is actually the spare out of my dark swinger, my blue swinger that I've had for a long time, and this is the spare that I took on Power Tour with me. Thing is, when I did this car, when I did the spare originally, I had painted just the front side, so when you pull it off, all of it's just nice and rusty on the back, because I'm like, I can't be rolling around with a dirty looking spare if I get a flat tire. So it's like, maybe nobody will ever notice if I run this, but on the back side, you never see it. It's fine. I really hope this one here will hold air, or even fit for that matter. Never tested these on the front. You can see I'm wearing gloves for these wires. I've been cut before. Okay. That looks pretty cool. So interesting fact about this wheel right here is that it's actually one of the original wheels and tires that came on the car. At least when I got it. Now, I'm not saying it's the original tire from the factory, but it's the one that I got the car with. And believe it or not, I have yet to put air in this tire. Ever since I got it, it has held air. I've never, ever had to put anything in it. And I think I just found out why. Because it's a tube tire. It just says tube type, must use tube. Never mind. Still sitting way too high. Try and settle the suspension some. It's a little better. So what I did previously off camera was actually adjust the torsion bars and set them a little bit lower than what I had. And the reason the car was sitting up so high was because that I was trying to compensate for the weight that the engine will provide. So just to give the look, I'll turn them back down. If you want to see how to adjust your torsion bars, click up in the top right here and you'll see a video where I go into detail how torsion bars work, as well as how to adjust them and get the proper ride height. And we're not going to leave it like this. We're not going to leave the wheels bolted on with 2 lug nuts. Don't sweat that. I'm not going to drive it on these tires. This is just for looks, just for the fun of it, just to get us a little inspiration. Now, the couple things to note here is that I mentioned about the alignment earlier. The alignment on this car is nowhere near what it needs to be. So you can see, check out the way too much positive camber up there. See if I can get it. It's kind of hard to tell, but there is so much positive camber. Like, it's just barely riding on this edge of the tire. So it's going to look kind of funny. And actually, the car will sit a little bit lower. But when that camber's fixed, the top of the tire will at least tuck in a little bit better. Ratty, but with some modern upgrades. I think it kind of complements the entirety of the car. Talked about either doing like a TA hood or the RT hood. I would really like the fiberglass TA hood because it's lightweight. It does look pretty cool. On top of that, somebody mentioned a shaker. Way too expensive. Or we could, use the original flat hood, but it's very rusty and it's got a crease right down the middle. So we've got options. We still at least have the factory hood. Something else that I played around with the idea of is this luggage rack here. Now, I don't know how I feel about it. I really like the idea and the functionality of it. Don't know if I'll go with the execution though. I don't care to drill holes in the original one because the trunk lid's pretty rusty, so it doesn't really hurt my feelings. Few things that I want to note is I don't care for spoilers on Challengers, except for like the duckbill from a TA. Don't like the go wing, so it's a no-go. It's either a TA or no spoiler at all. I just like the way that the back end of these cars are rounded off like that. Now the luggage rack will probably sit right about here. It'll be level with the deck lid itself. I'm missing these little pedestals. I've got them somewhere, but you can kind of get the idea of how the luggage rack will sit on the back. And I like it because it's functional. It's not really something that you would expect to see on a car like this. Like, oh, hey, he's got a luggage rack, and you can have like a tire on it, or like a gas jug, a little luggage. You can put a lot of stuff on this thing, and I plan to use it. If I put it on, I would legit use it as a luggage rack. So throw it down in the comments. Probably a lot of people won't like it, but a lot of you guys, I assume, will, and you like the idea of it. So there's 3 options: nothing at all, luggage rack, duckbill spoiler. Classic Industries provided the Challenger with some more parts once again. Now this is a rear valance panel, or valance, however you want to say it, for the Challenger. Now, the reason that you guys saw me put this on in a previous video is because I had actually bought that one used. I mean, it was technically new, but I bought it secondhand. And there's a couple reasons why Classic supplied me with this. The first one being is that the original valance on the car, on this Challenger here, didn't have the cutouts for the exhaust tips, the factory cutouts. And 2, it was rusted right down the middle right here, to where it was basically split in half right here. So that was another reason why I threw it out. So there's a couple things we're going to have to do before we put it on though. First being, we need to remove this tag bracket. Now this tag bracket is for the cars like the 73 to Ford that had the pushed out bumpers with like the gas filled shocks and all that stuff, the big bumperettes like this car used to have, where the bumpers were pushed out. They pushed the license plate out as well to make it fit flush. So we'll remove this, and then we need to paint it, because it does look good, but it's an E-coating. It's just meant to keep it from rusting or getting scratched in like shipping or storage. But when you put it on the car, if it sits out in the sunlight, the stuff will fade and get chalky, and eventually it'll just fade right off. So we don't want to have that. So what we're going to do is we're going to scuff this down after we remove this and give it a nice coat of black, just like we did on the last one, but this time it'll actually fit. And it's done. The valance for the rear of the Challenger has been painted, cleared, and is ready to go on the car. So let's pop this thing on, get the bumper on, see how it looks. So what I'm doing here first is I'm pulling the bumper so it'll be easier to get to those 3 bolts. And I didn't even tighten the bumper up when I did this the first time, because I knew this thing was going to have to come back out. So no biggie. And the biggest reason too is that when you pull the bumper, there are 2 screws back here, top and bottom, that you've got to pull out too, and then the whole thing can finally drop off. So yeah, we got to pull the bumper, which is kind of a pain, but not too big of a deal. It's only a bolt on each side. So put this somewhere safe, get all our old one out, get the new one on. Move the car inside so you could actually see. Didn't realize that the sun was beaming down on us like it was. Sorry, beaming. I'm from the south, that's how I gotta talk. My bad. Anyway, all we like is this one screw right here. And then this old valance should fall right out onto the floor. There we go. So I'm excited about this one. We'll just reverse it. Screws in middle. Might just wait to tighten up these screws here until the bolts on each side are in. That way, if it needs to move even the slightest, it may help out. I'll just keep it in line anymore. But there's 3 bolts on this side, 3 bolts on that side, and then the bumper goes on. Should be done. Now let's talk about these beauties, and this is something that I hadn't had the chance to put on yet, just because of this rear valance issue down below. Now these are the bumperettes that go with the Challenger 70 style rear bumper, and these are something that I've really been wanting to do for the longest time, but haven't had the chance to. But now, look at those beauties. And they do have the option where you can get the ones with the little rubber bumper guards. Dad 70 has those. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I prefer these chrome ones myself. But man, did those look really good. Classic Industries, again, outdid themselves with that beautiful chrome. And, you know, once we have all this on here, that'll really button up the back end of the car, and we'll be pretty much ready to go and complete. Now to bolt the bumperettes on, you will need these bracket attachments. So this actually will bolt to the frame just like this, and then this goes on the back side of the bumper. I'll show you how to install it right now. Bumperettes are pretty simple. You'll take this little angled piece right here, put it to the back side, and this will bolt to the bumperette like this. And we'll leave this kind of loose so that way it doesn't really cause any issues when we try to line the bumper up to bolt it on. But it is adjustable, so if we need to make things work. And what this will do is actually this bolts to the frame, so when the bumperette's in the car, we'll put this one on because it's got to kind of line up against the frame rail, and it just makes it easier to leave it to where it's not going to be in our way for the time being, but it just simply bolts to the bottom side. So let's put this on the car, and we'll put these L brackets on. And now, hopefully for the last time, the bumper goes on. And there you can see that's where the L bracket actually goes up to the frame rail. So this is the new one that we actually put in. So, and there's a spring perch, that's the shackle right there. And you can see it's coming in from the back side of that bumperette there. So it just goes to the L bracket, bolts to the back side of the bumperette, and then bolts to the 2 threaded spots in the frame rail itself. And you get everything adjusted and lined up like you like it, tighten it up, and you're good to go. And you can see I still got to put washers on these bolts up here. You can see still working on some gaps here with the bumper, but it does look really nice with everything at least started in there. Those bumperettes really fill in the gap and make everything look so good. Really happy with how this turned out, and I'm glad to see the back end of the car finally done this time for real. So definitely a big step in the right direction. I mean, I almost forgot one thing. Done. So in all seriousness, let's talk about the thing that probably drives more people up the wall than anything. The fact that the dent is still in the door and I am not painting the car. I don't have the space to tear this car down and really make it that show car quality. And a lot of you guys out there don't, and that's okay. But this car is kind of a rolling testament to that. It's like, hey, you don't have to have the biggest and baddest paint job. You don't have to have the biggest, baddest engine, all the big wheels, the fancy interior, all that stuff. You don't have to have all that to have a fun car, because this car tells a story, and this dent in the door tells a story. It's actually really, in my opinion, it's a part of the car. It's a part of the history. It's basically, for me, it's like finding a build sheet under the back seat. It's the same thing. It tells a story. It tells you what the car is. Now, there's a huge dent in the door and the rocker. Yes, I know. I didn't ask for that, but I love it. You know, in the end of the day, it's going to draw a lot of people's attention because they're like, well, what's going on with this car? Why is it all beat up? It's got really big wheels and it sounds good. Why is that? And I can tell them, you know, the original owner, when he had the car, he got backed into. The trailer hit him, but he kept driving the car because the door, I mean, you can see it lines up fine and it still functions as a door. It's still perfectly fine. It's just got a huge dent in it. It didn't bend the body, didn't tweak anything else except dent some sheet metal. And, you know, when he passed away, the car actually ended up with his cousins who I bought the car from. And they actually ended up having the car longer than he was even had the car. You know, they had it for 3 decades, and it was most of the car's life. And by the time that I got it, it was pretty much in shambles. You know, it was, if you remember that first video, it was very far gone, really bad off. But I want to be able to take that car back to them and show them, hey, this is the car that I bought from you. This is the one that I brought back to life, put it back on the road, and, you know, if I show up there with like a, you know, a fancy paint job for a different color or even the factory color, they're like, I mean, it looks like that car, it's the same color, but is it really that car? But what's really going to tell them that it's that car? This dent in the door. It's going to tell a story. But you know, the biggest thing is what I've really tried to push is that it's a rolling testament to the guys out there trying to do their best and doing things in their spare time, making things work, because, you know, YouTube is still just a hobby for me. I have a full-time job outside of this, and I work on this whenever I have the chance, and I love it. I totally enjoy it. It's my favorite thing to do, work on a car. So, you know, I'm doing this in my spare time just like a lot of you guys. So this is really, I wanted it to be kind of a shout out to the average Joe out there like myself, working on a car, getting things done, but putting it on the road, because I'm going to drive this thing. I'm going to drive the wheels off of it. If somebody door dings me, who cares? What's it going to matter? Is it going to scratch my paint, scratch my rust? It doesn't matter. And I'm not going to try to knock the guys who are putting in the work, putting in the effort to paint their cars. Totally respect that, have nothing against that, and I'm not saying that I won't paint this car in the future. I'm just saying that at the time, I would rather put this thing on the road, drive it, and enjoy it for however many years to come, and then maybe when I have the ability, maybe when I have the shop space, I'll tear it back down, paint it. But paint's not going to make the car run any better. It's not going to hurt me if I don't paint it. It won't hurt the car. Yes, I mean, things are going to rust even more, but it's going to rust if I paint it. It's just how things work. You know, this car was painted when it was new, and now it's just rusted again. And if I fix everything, 30, 40 years down the road, it's going to have to be done again. So why not just enjoy it for a while I can, have fun with it, and then do it whenever I have the ability to. That's the biggest thing. So, you know, a lot of people are telling me, hey, it's a cop-out, it's you being lazy. I just don't see that. I don't understand that. And I'm not doing it because it's a fad. I'm doing it more of, you know, it's the necessity of things, and the fact that I want you guys to understand that you don't have to have the biggest and baddest car with all the fanciest instruments and all the fanciest paint and wheels. You can do whatever you want and enjoy the car. So it's probably the last time I'm going to talk about the paint or anything with the exterior. Sorry guys, I'm not going to paint it. It's straight, besides the dents. And that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like down below. If you have a question for me, feel free to leave a comment. Order your t-shirts and your stickers. Join the Facebook group if you want your project to be at the very end of the video. And we got a lot of cool stuff done today. We got a lot of stuff coming up for the Challenger. Really figured out what the outside of the car is going to look like, and, you know, got a couple of things for future plans for the build. So appreciate everybody coming out to watch and showing your support and showing your love for the channel. And I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.